All right, so how about these rookie quarterbacks all of a sudden? They all got off to slow starts, and out of nowhere, they're all just doing great, right? I thought Lawrence was awesome this week. Zach Wilson was awesome, and I thought Justin Fields was awesome. I really did. I thought that they all were very impressive. And I know some people are going to just say, it's the Lions defense. I mean, I could go back there and throw for 300 yards. Well, probably, but also there's other things to factor in here. And just because it's the Lions defense doesn't mean that he didn't make some impressive throws on top of it, right? You can evaluate a quarterback even when they play a bad defense and say how good or bad of a performance was it. Now, were his numbers a little bit better because he played the Lions? Sure, but that doesn't mean that he didn't also play good. Sometimes your numbers are good and you played well. It doesn't always, numbers aren't always misleading. In fact, oftentimes they are accurate. And I would say that this was a good performance from Fields. I liked a lot of what I saw from Fields. I really did. So let's start off with this play. What's going to happen is that it's going to be zone coverage. Allen Robinson is the guy that he's going to want to hit. To me, this was his most impressive play. Justin Fields, that is, obviously. Because watch what's going to happen. It's zone coverage. Robinson is going to kind of get into a gap in coverage. Also, just to be clear, it might actually not be cover two. I believe it is, but it's a little bit difficult to tell with the broadcast feeds. So it's zone coverage of some kind, and Robinson is going to get into a gap there. However, right when this play starts, so, there's a play action, which in theory would help get guys open. Didn't really work out too well on this play, but there still is a window. It's not a huge window by any means, right? This is kind of what I talk about a little bit when I say, what are you doing above replacement level, right? The guy I always use as an example is Kyle Allen. To me, he is the perfect replacement level quarterback. And I like to see what a quarterback does that Kyle Allen wouldn't do. And I like to see what quarterbacks do that Kyle Allen wouldn't do in a bad way, right? It can work both ways. And that's kind of a good way to evaluate a quarterback, I think. To me, this is a play above replacement level. He fires it through there, perfectly accurate. And that's just something that when you sign a guy off the street, they're not going to make, I mean, another way you could think about it is like, if Andy Dalton is in there, does he make that play? Maybe, but probably not consistently. So to me, that's kind of how I view this, and there's some value there. Also, something like this was incredible. This is definitely a play Andy Dalton doesn't make, because it's not like Andy Dalton's specifically known for his wheels. What's going to happen is that it's man coverage. It's a cover one robber play. So a safety is going to come over towards the middle of the field, and basically his job is, hey, if Justin Fields sees this man coverage and starts to run, you run up and tackle Justin Fields. If he throws it, then you try and get in the way, obviously. But, he's the guy who will really focus on Fields if this is, in fact, going to be a quarterback rushing play, which, Fields is going to see man and might decide to do that. Watch how Fields takes the snap, and you're going to notice that. So he gets outside the pocket. He's saying, yeah, I'll run with this. Sure. 3rd down and 4. The Detroit Lions are saying, fine, this is okay. We have a plan for this. What's going to be great about this, and this is something that you can tell is just speed, is when defenders take poor angles. When defenders take poor angles, sure, it's on the defender, but it's also on the quarterback just being fast, or, whoever has the ball. Watch Fields just kind of run by him like that, makes that move, and that's just something that you're not expecting Fields to be able to move as quickly as he was able to and take a good enough angle. So that's just a good piece of running, and that is absolutely something you can replicate game in and game out. So again, above replacement level stuff. Yes, it's the Lions defense, whatever. It's still him doing stuff that other quarterbacks in that spot wouldn't do. You're going to play bad defenses in the NFL. How you handle them is what I'm interested in. Something like this is another good example of both bad defense and good play from Justin Fields. So it's going to be a cover 3 zone, and you have a receiver running a deep route over the middle. It's Darnell Mooney, who, by the way, he had like an incredible day. He had 125 receiving yards, so give him a lot of credit. He's kind of been a guy who Bears fans were hoping would break out. Well, maybe he is. Anyways, watch what happens. Fields takes a snap, and there was probably some good route running we can't see because we don't have the all-22, but regardless, Mooney gets completely wide open. The deep corner is way farther underneath, so I'm assuming Mooney faked an out route, then ran a go, which sort of allowed for this separation to happen. Either way, good job by him, whatever he did, to get open. And for Fields, deep ball accuracy is a concern I have had of him in the past, and it certainly wasn't an issue today. I think that he's obviously made some great deep throws, but he's also missed some, and I was concerned about the consistency. Well, He was perfect today. Watch, just a beautiful throw, gets it, and you're able to pick up a huge gain right there. And again, that stuff adds a lot of value. So was it wide open? Sure. Does Andy Dalton make that play? Sure. But it's still a perfect throw, and when the windows get tighter, then maybe Andy Dalton doesn't make that play, but the hope is that Justin Fields still can. If you're a Fields fan, that's what you're hoping for. And then we have something like this, where what's going to happen is, this is, to me, I want to say something, and I think it needs to be said. We got to give Matt Nagy a little bit of credit here, right? I mean, I think that's fair to say. If we're going to crush Matt Nagy for everything that went wrong last week, well, then shouldn't we praise him for some stuff going right this week? Of course, that's not how it works. Players get all the credit when things go well, and, coaches get all the blame when things go poorly. That tends to be how it works, unless you, win a Super Bowl. Then coaches start to get more credit. But I'm just saying, there were plays that just absolutely worked. Like this one, it's going to be a play action concept where you have one receiver kind of push defenders further deep, and you have another receiver run a little bit underneath, can get into a gap in coverage. It's not, you're not going crazy here, doing things that the Lions should never have seen before. But granted, it's a bad defense, so it's, works both ways, not just for Fields, but also for Nagy to make him look better. But watch how, so you run to play action, and Allen Robinson is going to get completely wide open. So again, that was a factor. We do have to mention it. It makes his box score look better than it probably, would have been. But also, watch this throw. It's perfectly accurate to allow Robinson to run further down the field. So again, what's the yards above replacement level you're getting there? Kyle Allen makes that throw, but Kyle Allen doesn't make it perfectly, and you don't pick up that extra 7 yards or so. So even on these easy plays, he was still looking good. Clearly, this was a great performance from Justin Fields. I'm not going to let one performance completely change how I view about a player, but I definitely feel better about him now than I did a couple days ago. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, listen, everyone's going to sit here and say, but you thought that Fields was going to be so horrible during the draft. I feel like so far through 2.5 games, I've completely nailed Fields. There's a lot of highs, there are some lows, and he'll have to get better at those negatives to be a complete quarterback. I've never called him a bust. I've called him a boomer bust quarterback, right? A project quarterback where things could go horribly wrong. This is the plus side, right? So you're going to get some negatives, you're going to get some positives, and we got to see some awesome positives in this one, and that's kind of the hope, is that you can continue this stuff going. Sure, it was a little bit easier of difficulty, especially considered from last week, but to me, that's the biggest difference I saw in Fields' game, is just that he had guys to throw to this week. He didn't have that last week. To me, that's the biggest difference I saw. So when guys are getting open, you're going to look better. When guys aren't getting open, you're going to look bad. That's just how this stuff works. So if I put some blame on him last week, I think it's only fair for me to give him some credit this week. That's the way I view it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What were your thoughts on this performance? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.